That's tomorrow evening at 11 Fairway Avenue. That's the same venue or location that we usually have our annual fish fry. Also, this Saturday gone, May 3rd, the Kiwanis Island-wide Blood Drive Initiative began. It was held at 3 venues. It was held at Halfway Tree Primary School, Montego Bay, as well as our very own blood collection center at the National Chest Hospital, where the Kingston Club Secretariat is. And kudos.
Five venues, friends.
Oh, it's 5. I was only aware of 3. Yes.
Falmouth and Sablamar.
As I said, yes, it was an island-wide initiative. And that was project lead PDT Ralston. So congratulations for a great start. I know that it's an ongoing effort. Was participation from a number of clubs in Division 23 East, 23 Central, including, of course, Kiwanis Club of Kingston. Quite a few people turned out and actually one supported with their presence and also was able to give blood. From our club, we had VP Zuri was there, DLG Willie, Director Andrew Burton, yours truly, and of course, PDT Ralston. And we encourage all of you to participate when the next initiative comes up, because the blood is needed and it makes a difference in our medical system. So congratulations to all those people who participated. And then finally, just to remind everybody that our annual fundraising activity, or Barbie Fry, which goes under the theme Fun, Flavor, and Fellowship this year, is going to be held on Friday, June 6th. The tickets are out. So if you'd like Hellshire style fish, fried fish, or if you'd like roast pork or chicken, all of those options are available to you. All of the proceeds are in aid of Kiwanis charities. The tickets are $3,000 each. The Kiwanis Club of Kingston members have it. If you're a member and you don't have your tickets, please get in touch with DLG Willie or DP Marcel to get your tickets. So that's end of this month, or the beginning of next month, June 6th. The venue is 11 Fairway Avenue, and it will start from 10 o'clock in the morning, if that's correct, and go all the way into the evening, and we'll have drinks and other things on sale there. So please support and participate. So those are the main activities of the club over the next month or so. Oh, and also very important to remind you that May 13th, we're asking all of the members to roll out because we will need a quorum. We do have our annual general meeting scheduled for next week, Tuesday, May 13th. And as you know, we need a quorum in order to vote in the designated officers for the next Kiwanis year. So please, it's going to be a face-to-face meeting at the Secretariat next week, Tuesday. So those are the things that I have on my opening remarks, but I do see that we have quite a few guests and Kiwanians who are joining us this evening, and I'm going to ask VP Zuri to take the mic and welcome our fellow Kiwanians and guests.
Thank you, President Stephen.
I'm seeing you and hearing you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone, Kiwanians, guests of Kiwanians, Lieutenant Governors past, present, distinguished, Presidents past, present, distinguished, to everyone. Good evening and welcome to another exciting meeting of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. This one I know might be touchy for some of us because we think our university is the best university in the world, but I'm going to ask us all to have an open mind and listen, as I'm sure there will be something that we can all learn this evening. And I mean, you know, we can always listen to others try to be the best once you know the truth that your university is the best. All right. So at this time, I'm going to open to my Kiwanian friends to bring us greetings. And as usual, I'm going to start by asking if there is any Kiwanis Club online from outside of Jamaica. Do we have anyone visiting us from outside of Jamaica? It seems that we're all locals this evening, so I'm going to move to clubs in Division 25. Division 24.
Good evening. Good evening, VP. I'm recovering from the flu, so I'm going to be quick. This is Director Crystal Heaven from the Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay. We're currently having our board meeting at this time, so I'm the only one on so far. Thanks for the invite. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Crystal, and we all wish for you a speedy recovery. Right, so we all will keep you in our prayers that you recover quite quickly. Thank you so much for joining. Do we have any other clubs from Division 25? How about Division 24? Division 23 East. Division 23 West. Division 23 Central.
Good evening, everyone. This is DP Dela from the Kiwanis Club of Young Professionals, Kingston. Happy to be here this evening and looking forward to your esteemed guest speaker. Wishing you a wonderful meeting.
Thank you, DP. We are happy to have you join us, and we hope that you will indeed enjoy the meeting. Is there any other visiting club online?
Hi, VP Zuri, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, President Eurydice. How are you?
Fantastic. I am fantastic.
That's good. That's good.
Okay, so as you know, I'm from the the Kiwanis Club of 23 Central Surrey Online, and we bring you greetings from that club. And at this time, we have a delegation of 2 to include DLG Keith and myself. So thank you so much for the invite, and we look forward to this meeting. And let me see, because I have a number of universities, and colleges and all of that. So I want to see if is this better than mine, any of mine, So let me hear it. Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much for joining, you and your delegation. We're all looking forward to hearing it.
Mhm.
Any other clubs? How about our SLPs? Do we have any SLPs online? I mean, this might be a good one for you because you are looking at your next options. No SLP members online? Okay. How about guest of Kiwanians?
This is another club.
Okay.
The Kiwanis Club of New Kingston is in the house, and we are 5 in number.
Welcome to the
Others are
Kiwanis
on
Club
their
of New
way.
Kingston.
We are looking forward to a wonderful meeting. Thanks
Always
for
a
having
pleasure
us.
having you. I see President, is it Mauricia, there from UE, Western Jamaica campus? Is it possible for you to open your mic or you're unable to? Good
I
evening.
can't hear myself. Alright, so I'm not sure of the division, but I'm from Western Jamaica campus, and I want to hear the speech because I want to know if I picked the wrong university. So let's see it. Let's see it.
All right. Well, I'm sure you will get all the information you need to decide whether or not you did pick the wrong university. It's our pleasure having you. Do we have any other SLPs online? Any friends of Kiwanians? Well, I'm going to close by wishing for us all a very interesting meeting. It's always our pleasure having you join us for our meetings, and we certainly look forward to hosting you again every Tuesday. Back to you, President Stephen.
Thank you, VP Zuri, and welcome again to everybody. Apologies for absence. We do have two apologies that were tendered. First for DP Marcel Boyce. He had indicated he would be unable to attend this evening, as well as an apology for lateness from DLG Willie Reeson, who will be joining us later on, but he has another commitment and will be joining us later on. Is there anybody else who has sent in an apology for absence from the club? If not, I'm going to transition to DP Newton, who is going to share with us any members who have birthdays or anniversaries celebrating this week. Over to you, DP Newton.
Thank you, President Stephen. Good evening again, everyone. I just want to set the record straight. Even though nobody can really accuse VP Zuri of being bad mind, I think part of the problem with VP Zuri is that he couldn't fit into those kite uniforms that the people at Caribbean Maritime wear. So I think he has something against them with that. On a little more somber note, President, I would want to recognize that during the week we heard that the son of past President LaShawn of 23 CSO, that she lost her son. And we just want to send condolences to her and the family. And I know it must be a very rough time for them right now. In terms of birthdays and anniversaries, from the Kiwanis Club of Kingston for this week, we have Kiwanian Jerome Gale, who celebrates his birthday today, the 6th. Tomorrow, which is the 7th, we have PD Terrence Jarrett celebrating his birthday. And on the 9th, we will have past Chairman Lowell Mason on the 9th. So, and DP Patrick Anderson celebrates his birthday on the 11th. So if anyone online know those persons have the phone number, just remember those days, give them a call, wish them happy birthday.
DP Newton.
Hi, DP Chris.
Just to indicate, it might be difficult to get to
Terrence.
To Terrence, yes. I don't think anybody in the club will be able to get to him because he passed a few years ago.
Well, one of the things I want to do, one of the things I want to do, DP Chris, I want to meet with you privately and I'll teach you how to do it. Thank you. I tell you, as soon as it came out of my mouth, I kind of recognized that Terrence is gone. But thank you. So moving on, is there anyone online right now who is celebrating any birthday, any special occasion? We ask that we invite you to open your microphone and let us know so we can celebrate with you. Anyone? Okay. In that case, then it's back to you, President Stephen.
Thank you, DP Newton, and special birthday greetings to all of the persons you mentioned, as well as happy anniversary to those people having special occasions this week.
President Stephen?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, I should have pointed it out to VP Zuri, but I see a Diana Spencer online. I suspect she may be connected to our guest speaker. Maybe he may want to introduce her if my assumption is correct.
Mrs. Spencer, as our special guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
It was my plan to introduce her at the start of my presentation.
Okay. I'm sorry to steal your thunder, sir.
Okay.
But I do see President Maurice there raising their hand, or Mauricio, sorry.
Yes.
Or you should, well, surely it's spoke. I see you lowered your hand now, so that's okay. All right, so we finished the birthdays now, and now we're going to go into, I mentioned apologies for absence, yes. Kiwanis Education. Is IPLG Desmond online? I have him down for Kiwanis Education this week. He's usually here, and I noticed President Eurydice should have usually includes her in her club's membership. All right, so in the absence of Kiwanis education this week, I'm going to go straight into our feature presentation. The man of the hour with Professor Spencer, and we're going to ask to do the introduction, distinguished President Rupert. There you go.
Thank you,
Welcome,
Prince.
Rupert.
Thank you,
Over
sir.
to you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. This evening we have Professor Andrew Spencer, who is the president of the Caribbean Maritime University, a one-of-the-kind institution in the English-speaking Caribbean, and a place that has made a name for itself over the past 10 or more years. Professor Spencer, welcome to the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. He joined the CMU as president on September 12, 2022. He was conferred with the Order of Distinction in the rank of commander on August 6, 2024. Distinguished as the first individual to be promoted to the rank of full professor in the substantive field of tourism in the Caribbean, Professor Spencer served as professor and deputy executive director of the Mona School of Business and Management. And in that capacity, he held responsibility for overseeing all the undergraduate programs, showcasing his adept leadership in academic management. Professor Spencer served for 4 years as the executive director of the Tourism Product Development Company Limited, TPDCO, the agency responsible for maintenance, development, and enhancement of the tourism product in Jamaica, and one of the largest agencies in the Ministry of Tourism. He also gave stellar service from 2013 to 2017 as director of the Center for Hotel and Tourism Management at the University of the West Indies campus in Nassau, Bahamas. As we will hear, he's a scholar of exceptional standing. He holds a Bachelor of Science and a Master of Science in Tourism Management from the University of the West Indies. And he earned his PhD in Strategic Management and Tourism from the Bournemouth University in the United Kingdom. Among the outstanding academic achievements that he has is his PhD thesis received the prestigious Institute for Travel and Tourism Prize in 2011-2012. He has published over 50 scholarly works and has written 6 books. So when he comes to tell us why CMU is better than everybody else, I suspect that his academic work will go before him. His extensive work has blessed Jamaica in many ways. His commitment has advanced knowledge and innovation in the field of tourism. Currently, Professor Spencer holds key positions in the private and public sector, serving on a number of boards. He's chairman of the National Insurance Fund, chairman of the National Education Trust, a commissioner of the National Water Commission, director of the University Council of Jamaica. He serves as a director on the boards of Express Catering and Margaritaville Turks and Caicos Islands. He's a director of Sandals Corporate University. A passionate advocate for education, Professor Spencer's leadership extends to his role as a member of the Wilmer's Boys and Girls Schools Board of Management, emphasizing his commitment to nurturing future generations. This evening, I'm privileged to present to you a scholar, a nation builder, a notable and distinguished Jamaican, Professor Andrew Spencer, President of the Caribbean Maritime University, to present on the topic, CMU graduates are more likely to be employed than other university graduates in Jamaica. Professor Spencer, welcome to this meeting. A warm Kiwanis welcome to you. This platform is yours, and may the words of your mouth, may we meditate on them as we listen to you, sir. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Sir Whitaker. And all of you will forgive me if you don't have the Kiwanis prefixes. I won't know how to address you other than Mr. and Miss. But I thank you very much, Mr. Whitaker. Thanks to President Greg, as well as Mr. Spencer, who I think has set me up a little bit. But Mr. Whitaker, you said when you started with "let the words of my mouth," I was hoping you would say "be acceptable," but you stayed away from the acceptable bit. So I guess that's over.
I have to, sir, until I hear you.
All right, so let me attempt to share my screen. It's a pleasure to be here with you all today. And I trust that by the time we get through what I have to present, that everyone will be clear on what the proposition is. But let me disarm you almost immediately, because I think we're suffering from a little bit of Chinese telephone in this case. So the conversation started out with Mr. Spencer identifying that there was an article about our absorption rate of graduates. And then it morphed into this very elaborate topic in which I had no hand, but I follow it obediently. And then I heard the Chinese telephone evolve, because now I'm hearing words like better. And this one is better than the other, as opposed to the germane point of the topic, which is about graduate absorption in industry. So I wanted to make that quick point. For those who have the daggers drawn, you can put them back, because this is a man who, when you heard the bio just now, I'm sure you heard UWI about 3 times. And I've given 15 years to UWI, and I just recently signed an MOU with UTech. So the point we're making here today, which is an important one, is that there's value in a number of places. And one of the things we're proud of is how well our graduates are able to transition into their fields of qualification. And I think when the data speaks, there can be no argument about that. So let me go right in. I'm trying to... Are you seeing my shared screen well?
Yes, it's fine now. It was a little distorted, but it's fine now.
Okay, good. Fabulous. All right, so I introduce you this evening, if you have not been introduced before, to the Caribbean Maritime University, and I want to use the time well, so I'll work my way through it a little bit. And so just to give you a little outline of how we plan to proceed this evening, and while you look at that outline, I wanted to introduce you to Dr. Diana Spencer, who is my wife, as was accurately pointed out earlier. Happy to have her online this evening. Incidentally, we go off to her doctoral graduation on Friday, so happy for that as well. So we're looking at a number of areas, and you would have seen what those are. We've had a journey as an institution, started in 1980 through a partnership with the Norwegians. And not to bore you with a history lesson this evening, but just to highlight a few key points in terms of how we got to where we are. Most importantly, after the 1980 happening, one of the other critical bits is that we later changed our name from the JMTI, which is Jamaica Maritime Training Institute, to the Caribbean Maritime Institute until 2017, where we became the Caribbean Maritime University. And that name embodies and captures and encapsulates all that we are. We are, without shame, a maritime higher education institution. We are a university with all its sophistication, and we are a regional university that serves 13 countries. So our vision is one that we keep simple, and we hold it dear in everything that we do. Maritime University of Choice for Global Leaders, and our mission is about redefining maritime excellence through education, research, and innovation. All of those components are critical pillars in our strategic plan. We're halfway through our strategic plan, which we're very proud of. Have a number of campus locations. Our main campus is at the Palisades, where I know many of you pass and you see that lovely sign heading to the Norman Manley Airport. And I'd have you know as well that we are located in the 7th largest natural harbor of the world. There's no better place for a maritime university to be situated, and so we're very pleased with that. We also have a Western campus location currently at the Sam Sharp Teachers College, but we are about to make a move in short order. You'll see an announcement about that soonest. And we are in St. Anne at the Money College through a franchise arrangement, and we just signed our agreement to have our campus in Suriname. So we have 3 faculties, and these 3 faculties they have their own distinct place in our space. The Faculty of Engineering and Applied Technology, we consider it to be our innovation hub, and I will tell you that this faculty, and this is not to say that the person from Western Jamaica should think that they're at the wrong university. There is no wrong university in an environment where we have 3 public universities fighting to create access for individuals, and we've only been able to produce 27% access to tertiary education between those 3 public universities and our private partners in UCC and NCU and others. So the fact is that there's more that all of us can and should do, and that is why we've signed that MOU with UTech. That is why we are partnering with UWI on research, and that is why I'm here to share with you the uniqueness of the CMU today. So the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Technology has a very unique facility called the FESTO Fact Center, which has 7 cutting-edge laboratories found nowhere else in the Western Hemisphere. And this was through a partnership with German company Festo. We have pneumatics, we have mechatronics, we have robotics, we have electric vehicles laboratories, we have what we call a virtual welding lab, which is going to transform the space when it's fully up and running. And so we see the engineering space as our innovation hub. The Faculty of Marine and Nautical Studies is what we consider to be our core. It was the very reason for which we were developed in 1980. And when I heard, let me make sure I get this right, when I heard DP Newton mention earlier about the tight uniforms, I mean, we hope to call them fitted and not tight, but those uniforms that you're so in love with are usually donned by members of the Faculty of Marine and Nautical Studies. These are the navigators and the marine engineers. And it's a very distinct engineering program from the engineering programs in the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Technology. And then we have our largest faculty. We consider that to be our critical mass faculty, the Faculty of Shipping and Logistics. And I'll share with you a few programs from all of these faculties. And then, of course, no good university can pave its way in the global landscape without a solid school of graduate studies and research. And so we're very proud of that school. So in the Faculty of Marine and Nautical Studies, let me start you there since that's how we started. We had 3 very exciting degrees, one in marine transportation, which, as you would imagine, was the first degree program, the other in marine engineering, and our newest program, we're looking for a new intake in this program, is our Bachelor of Science in Naval Architecture and Marine Surveying. And I want to stop here just for a minute so you understand why we do things the way we do it. We were never interested as a university in doing more of the same. So we understand UTech does architecture. That's not our intention. Our intention is a very specific kind of architecture. We understand UTech does land surveying. We're interested in marine surveying. And so what you will notice when I go through the programs and the kinds of things that we involve ourselves in is that we're trying to break through new frontiers and provide opportunities for Jamaicans and Caribbean nationals that they would not previously have had access to. And of course, in this faculty, we have our professional certification unit, which is the only of its kind. It is similar to the Norman Manley Law School at the University of the West Indies. So you complete your degree, and in order to ply your trade anywhere in the world, you will need to be certified by our PCU. And that's a fact. And so even those who do their degree programs elsewhere ultimately find themselves at the CMU to become certified to rise to the highest level in their area of qualification. And the Faculty of Shipping and Logistics, a number of programs here, largest faculty in terms of, well, staffing, but also students and the number of degrees. So you'll see some exciting programs, most popular one being the Bachelor of Science in Logistics and Supply Chain Management. And I pause here to say that as Jamaica continues to toy with and to tinker around the edges of the idea that we should be the next biggest thing as a transshipment space, and that we, given our proximity to the Panama Canal, and I'll say a little bit more about that later, should be at the next Rotterdam of the world, the CMU is going to have to play a critical role in that. And I'll say that for those who have not yet embarked on a degree program in logistics and supply chain management with the Special Economic Zone Authority doing what it does, we are reaching people at the point of their need. We just trained over the last month 600 Jamaicans. Yeah? And we train these individuals in what we call Logistics 101, because we think the first step is sensitization, and we've done this at no cost to the participant. I was going to say free, but I know everybody in Kiwanis knows that nothing in life is free, but free to the participants. And we had a wonderful turnout, and we're about to launch phase 2 of that program. But you'll see the list of our degree programs: international shipping, border operations and management, formerly known as, it was the long name degree, customs, immigration, freight forwarding. And so we have transformed that program, and it's now border operations and management for a broader international appeal. Cruise shipping and marine tourism, the only one of its kind as well. So again, you is doing tourism, and I must hasten to say that I started the tourism program at UMONA, and we're not interested in doing more of the same. And so even though there are areas of intersection, because tourism is tourism, we have focused on our niche area and our area of expertise, cruise shipping and marine tourism. And you will see again some cutting edge areas: our Bachelor of Science degree in Security Administration and Management, and our BSc in Cyber Security and Digital Forensics. So I mentioned the innovation faculty at first, and I want to show you why they're so innovative outside of the technology labs that we have. Again, the types of degrees. So UTech has great degrees in electrical engineering and other forms of engineering. The CMU has tried to do things differently. So we have the only bachelor's degree in mechatronics, which is the combination of mechanical and electrical engineering. And we give students a particular kind of advantage when they go there. I'll tell you this, that our engineering degree students are all gobbled up, save and except for 1 or 2 before they graduate. I'll get to those statistics in a minute. Again, we're excited about our Bachelor of Science degree in Artificial Intelligence, also unique. And I bring you to the Bachelor of Science in Marine Biotechnology. Again, if you go to UWI, you'll see a Bachelor of Science in Marine Biology, quite distinct from the solution orientation of the Bachelor of Science in Marine Biotechnology. And you'll find that the colleagues that we have who are qualified with terminal degrees in this area are individuals who are driving the research. So for example, very recently, we got a massive grant out of the Irish Aid Clinic to perform solid research on biodiversity and medical uses of sargassum seaweed. And we're looking forward to the outcomes of that 18-month project. So those are the kinds of things we're engaged in. And I will say to you that even though UWI does marine biology, they are a minority partner on that project. So you'll find the split in that is that 92% of the project funding is coming to the CMU, and the other 8% is being divided between the UWI and another partner overseas. So we're very pleased with those kinds of things. I preempted myself by telling you about the Fact Center before, but it's very exciting. It's about preparing the workforce that now exists and those who are to come to peacefully coexist with the technology that's already present. This is not a preparation for the future. This is a preparation for now. And so we're very proud of our Industry 4.0 lab, the only one in the Western Hemisphere. This may be a little bit niche for you to understand, but for those who are in the shipping space, you'll understand that the International Maritime Organization, the IMO, kind of like the United Nations of the maritime and shipping space, has put us on their whitelist, only institution that's on their whitelist. Again, it means that if you come to the CMU, anywhere you go in the world, the Philippines, to the continent of Africa, wherever you go, you will be able, without question, to ply your trade. Just to introduce you to a few of the things that are in our professional certification unit. Again, I just pulled out a few because there are many others. Advanced firefighting, and you find that individuals come to us for a number of things. We decided quite recently to strengthen our partnerships in the cruise shipping space. We had very strong partnerships in cargo, and so recently we've signed with Carnival Cruise Lines, Royal Caribbean, we're in talks with Disney Cruise Lines. And you'll find that there are individuals who don't necessarily want to do degree programs or who don't need to do it. These are some of the areas that they can be certified in, but it's also an opportunity for those who have the degrees to be qualified in these areas in order to be able to get to the zenith of their career. Look to the bottom of the screen, you'll see articulated truck driving. Seems far left field, doesn't it? Not quite. And so even though we are a transportation, maritime, shipping university, there are areas that we understand which are required for individuals to be able to make a quick transition to their dream job. And so this is a program that we have that is oversubscribed for the next 18 months. So in other words, if you applied now, you couldn't get in until close to 2027. Because individuals use this 16-week program to transition to doing major trucking jobs in Canada and in other places in North America. So just giving you a little sense of how agile we are. This is something we're very proud of, and I think DP Dela may like to see this one. That we're able to attract almost an equal number of males and females. Why is this important for us? Because we are a STEM university, and I laugh with the president of UTEC all the time when he says UTEC was doing STEM before STEM was sexy. I said to him, you can own STEM as your label, but we will own STEM as our propellant and as the people who engage in fuel and petroleum studies, and I'll tell you more about that later on. We're happy to use the word propellant. So it's very good for us because one would assume that in a tactile, technical space like this, we would have, unlike our other university partners, I'll call them, a greater weighting for males, but we're attracting almost an equal number of females to spaces, and we'll find that our females are actually doing exceptionally well in the areas of engineering and are taking up massive jobs at JPS, at CEPRAD, at Grace Kennedy. And that also speaks to the fact that we're not only training individuals for the maritime space. The Prime Minister said it very well at the groundbreaking for the German ship repair company, and they're also major partners of ours. He said that he sees maritime and what we're doing with all of our degrees in areas that are not boxed in to likely be the next bauxite industry space, where it created so many individuals who were trained in technical areas and it couldn't absorb them, so it started exporting them. And so you had all kinds of people who were being trained for bauxite who ended up working in other spaces. That is what you're seeing with the CMU and the kinds of people we're producing. Rear Admiral Peter Brady, who is also on our council, made a statement some time ago, and I don't think that this has changed significantly. And if it has, it is getting closer to 100%. That almost everybody who works for shipping lines coming out of Jamaica would have been trained at some version of the CMU, either JMTI, CMI, or CMU. And so we continue to supply quality graduates. Now, this is the crux of what I think Stuart Spencer wanted me to talk about. And so we can only go with the data. I am fairly confident that no other institution can make this claim. And we're very pleased with it. And there are a number of factors that have driven this. So if you look at the screen, 45% of our graduates get jobs before they graduate. Phenomenal. And it's not jobs, no disrespect to call centers. I'm a big BPO guy. But it's not jobs in spaces that they're not trained to work in. It's jobs in their areas of qualification that can add, they can go into those spaces credibly and add a lot of credence to what those entities are doing. 71% within 6 months of graduation and 81% within 9 months of graduation. But we have not thrown out the 19%, and I'll tell you what we're doing for the 19% in a minute. But what contributes to this is that we have what I like to refer to as the mirror effect with industry. We have such a close relationship with the Shipping Association of Jamaica, the Caribbean Shipping Association, etc., that almost immediately when they absorb a graduate, we are getting feedback on how they are performing. And that feeds right into our curriculum. So the beauty of that is that we're always on a quality path. And that quality path has enabled us to remain on the IMO whitelist. It has allowed us to get our ISO certification. I think we may be the only of the universities. It has allowed us to recently be accepted into what is known as the International Association of Maritime Universities. Excellent designation because it places us in the top 15% of maritime higher education institutions in the world. Over 500 such institutions, and we're in the top 15% as a result of the quality that we churn out. So for the 19%, what are we doing? We have our business development units in partnership with the JBDC, which serve as a sort of incubator space, and we have excellent people working in that arena who are driving the ability of individuals to take their business ideas from concept to implementation to export readiness, and we're very pleased with that. Just a few of the highlights. We have exceptional people that we're proud of, and I wanted to draw you into the individual to the bottom left, Monica Wilson, who is an assistant lecturer in our space, who recently returned from Greece, where she was trained in radiation protection and safety of radiation sources, the only person in the Caribbean. So we like to do a lot of onlys at the same year. So she is now going to be the go-to person. But I take it a step further. We are going to be, in about 12 months, because we've started building it, the only university that has a non-destructive testing laboratory, the like of which you will see. And that will allow for the Bureau of Standards of Jamaica to do a lot of their testing with us, because we're going to have excellent machinery. I almost let you lead me down the road of using that word better. And we're going to have the expert. Phase 2 of that now is going to be our nuclear energy laboratory, again being funded by the International Atomic Agency. And Miss Wilson is ready to take that on, having returned from her sojourn. Again, you'll see the others, and we gave you a spread. Those who are working for Kingston Freeport Terminal Limited, another female who is at the Port Authority of Jamaica. And there's a wonderful relationship with the Maritime Authority of Jamaica, Port Authority of Jamaica, the Caribbean Maritime University. And we've also shared with you a solid navigator with Carnival Cruise Lines. So I wanted to just use this point to pivot to a little bit of a discussion surrounding what's happening in the world today. So as we build leaders for the global economy, and as people are absorbing them, we have to prepare individuals who are able to be nimble and who can navigate the turbulent waters that have now emerged throughout the world. And I know you may think the only thing is tariffs. No, it's not, and I'll tell you about a few others. But certainly, if you look at the US-Jamaica trade situation in 2024, it shows you US exports to Jamaica and the value of that, US imports from Jamaica, and looking at the US trade surplus, we think that even with the 10% that is emerging, that Jamaica will be in a position to continue to supply excellent talent in the space. Now, obviously, there are going to be some challenges, and I'll share what we anticipate some of those challenges to be. So the tariff impact, certainly higher costs for business operations, and I speak to my friends in the shipping industry all the time who are not necessarily bracing for it, but who are adapting. And it will also mean that the labor force's productivity will be under the microscope. So we have to constantly provide people who can hit the ground running, and who, again, going back to how we train them in the midst of all this phenomenal artificial intelligence technology that we have, to be able to work with the technology for greater efficiency, so that there can be other areas of cost efficiency. Again, investment risks. One expects that the level of expansion of the space is likely to probably plateau in the short term, but as with everything else, over time, we expect that confidence to return, and for the kind of vitality that we see to be restored in full force. And of course, you would expect some long-term risks. One of the risks that concerns us, though, is the issue of safety, because we are big on that, and you will find that all of our students understand the importance of occupational health and safety. And especially working on the vessels, for those who choose to do that, we understand that as SIDS, we have to ensure that we don't find ourselves in a position where there's any breach or weakness in that area. So we anticipate that the higher tariffs are likely to increase the cost of safety gear, etc. Again, we have to prepare ourselves for that. We expect for some challenges for small, medium enterprises. Again, our SBDC is helping to position us to treat with that. And of course, some regression is expected in terms of stability that has come, especially with all the talks about the Panama Canal and the US's role in building that canal, and therefore the desire, whether it is just a wish list item or the other, for the US to assume canal. So these are all things that we're paying close attention to. Global supply chain disruptions are also expected. And of course, just recently, with challenges in the Suez Canal, we saw some trips around the world to carry cargo taking an additional 19 to 21 days. And when you try to quantify the impact of that, just in terms of fuel consumption, that lead to massive disruption. So we expect similar disruptions with what's happening. So just to bring your attention to some of the disruption that we expect. Again, you'll see that the area that's taking the biggest hit is vehicle manufacturing. Look at what's happening to Canada. If you look at the graph that we've demonstrated here, Canada is going to take a massive hit with the 15% on vehicle manufacturing and export. Everybody else too. Naturally, China, who's at the top of the list for massive tariffs, would expect to see some of that happening. But all of this is subject to, of course, the elasticity of demand. What I want to show you here is that already the considerations about the rising freight costs are leading China to consider routes through alternative spaces to be able to avoid some of the challenges that they would face. Again, adding to the length of the journey, adding to disruptions in supply chains. And you would understand COVID as well as the Ukraine war and other things. You would have seen what it did just to the supply of many things that were to come to Jamaica. So you can understand what it means for global disruption. So look at this example. Direct route, and there's a little error there. Direct route that would have led to trade happening between China and the US. Again, trade route shifts being contemplated through Vietnam to avoid tariffs. And you'll understand what that means in terms of the cost implications, and therefore somebody will have to find some other location or space to be able to manage their bottom line. But there are opportunities. There are some tensions surrounding the Panama Canal, but I think as a university, we have an opportunity to lead. The beauty about universities is that typically we have no horse in any race, and so we are required to provide solid empirical studies and research, but also to provide advocacy that is free from bias. And so there are many of these areas that we're leading the discourse on. And so, of course, when global tides shift, prepared ports will rise with the waves. So risk assessment is going to be important going forward, again, because we don't have a quantity proposition like our other university partners, and we'll never get there because we don't want to be that university. We have a quality proposition. And so almost every year we go through a number of audits. I mentioned to you before that we're ISO certified. We do our own internal audits. We are audited by the Maritime Authority of Jamaica every year as well. We're audited by the IMO every few years. We are audited by the IAMU. And so we're always needing to be on our A game, and we're happy for that. Our research, I mentioned the nuclear non-destructive testing labs funded by the International Atomic Agency. But we're very proud that we have launched a partnership, and it's well underway. We've received a lot of the panels of
You're frozen, Dr. Spencer.
Yeah, I don't think I froze. I fell off altogether. I'm back now. So I'll need to
Oh,
share.
okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
Let me do the share again. All right, are you seeing that?
Yes, we are seeing that.
All right, fabulous. So I was about to make the point that there's a massive conversation now about decarbonization. And again, we're at the forefront of the research surrounding Caribbean issues and the nuances surrounding the decarbonization debate. But one of the things that's happening is that shipping companies are being nudged in a direction of having cleaner fuels. And so all alternative fuel sources require a different kind of treatment. So for example, when you talk to cruise ships, they'll tell you there's no way they're looking at ammonia given the combustibility of it. But we're preparing individuals because some ships are looking at ammonia, some ships are looking at hydrogen, and we're leading the research on hydrogen as a source of fuel, green hydrogen as well as blue hydrogen. We have to prepare graduates. For example, you think about the marine engineers who can survive in any environment regardless of what shipping does over the next 10 to 15 years. And so we're looking at hybrid technologists, and we're looking at individuals who have digital and automation fluency and who can continue to make us proud in industry. And so we have this tagline, CMU powerful, CMU global, and we live by that. The final reason why our graduates are getting absorbed much more quickly than others is for this simple reason. We have a lot of partnerships that are both academic and industry. So we partner with Global Shipping Development. It's a company that's a humanitarian aid company that provides help to small and developing states and they have some of our cadets on their vessels. We're partnering throughout the Caribbean because apart from Suriname, where we're setting up a campus, the model we're using in other Caribbean countries is to partner with institutions to roll out programs that only the CMU can deliver. So there's the University of Guyana, there's the Olusegun Agagu University of Science and Technology in Nigeria, there's Antigua State College, there's the International Maritime University of Panama. And I'm only using this to make the point that we are in most continents of the world with partnerships emerging as well at the Shanghai Maritime University, as well as the French Maritime Academy and others. So I just want you to get a sense that we have a footprint everywhere. And in terms of professional bodies, we are chartered members of the Chartered Institute of Logistics out of the United Kingdom. Of course, we have to give respect to our local accrediting body, the UCJ. Just explain to you that we're in the IAMU. I could go on and on and on, but you can see them, and this is how we ensure that we are connected to what is required. The industry partnerships are many, and were I to put them all on the slide, we would not be finished today, and I'm already 3 minutes over my 30-minute allotment. So I'm about to wrap now, but I wanted to look at the spread of partners that we have. And the one that's really unique here is the German Ship Repair Jamaica Limited. We have an apprenticeship program that doesn't only see the CMU student who is transitioning through a degree program getting placed there, but we're going into communities to find disenfranchised, disenchanted, unattached, detached youth and bring them into a space where we can give them short program training so that they can learn to chip and paint a vessel and get employed either by GSRJ or other entities throughout the world that are hiring for those kinds of skills. But it's also a stackable approach that will allow people to transition into degree programs should they desire to go that route. So I think it's really important to make that point, that that is what makes us particularly unique, that we're able to reach into the bowels of the communities and pull talent out that would not otherwise have been unearthed. And so we're very pleased with that, and that's one part of our mantra and ethos that we'll never abandon. Again, just sharing a few of our partners with you. Some awards received, not to brag and to boast, but just to give you a sense that we've been recognized not only locally, but throughout the globe as a solid institution that takes pride at every control point in ensuring that the highest quality is achieved. And most recently, we were the Anchor Awardee at the American Caribbean Maritime Foundation Anchor Award ceremony in Miami, Florida, where we received that with a great degree of glee. And so I use the opportunity to say thank you. And I hope that at the end of my presentation, you will engage, but I also hope that I would have managed to share with you why we are top notch and why all of us as universities can do more for this island, Jamaica, and for the Caribbean. But I'm also making a point that if you understand the power of shipping and maritime, for the world, over 80% of all goods move by sea, but even more so in an archipelagic space like the Caribbean, over 90% is carried by sea. So everything you need, my friends, the fuel in your car, the electricity that is allowing us at this moment to stay online, all of that is a result of the talent we produce. But let's take it one step further. Even if it weren't about your needs and it were about your wants, the chips you love on the shelves, the things you like to consume that we don't produce here, they must come by sea. And so the CMU sits between you and your needs and your wants. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to engaging you.
Thank you, Professor Andrew. Very, very interesting. Very, I mean, I think one of the things that I may have said to you is that, I have to concede that, in terms of top of mind, the people who are not necessarily in this industry, I didn't think that they were focusing on CMU as much as based on the opportunities that you offer. So I'm really happy that you've been able to, shed some exposure on what you do. Just two quick things, and the floor is open. You guys can put up your hands. I'll see it on the if you know how to use the hand on Zoom. But just two quick things. Well, this is a simple one. Are your graduates required to learn to swim?
That's a good question. So graduates from a particular faculty are. So let me go back to my earlier slides. A lot of our graduates who are going into shipping and logistics, port management, international shipping, it's not a requirement for them, but of course we encourage them to do that. The beauty of it is that we have programs that train people to do that. So as a part of our community outreach, we went into 13 communities and trained the fisher folk. I'm about to share something that's going to shock you, my friend, that most of our fisher folk can't swim. We brought in a whole set of them, took them to our pool and trained them to swim. And then we gave them navigational devices so they can find their way back home. But yes, for marine and nautical studies students, because of all the physical training and everything they do, yes, swimming is an important part of what they do.
And the other one was when COVID hit, you're not a medical university, but was there anything that a CMU could contribute to that problem with the cruise shipping? I'm going kind of out of left field, but because there was COVID and there's cruise shipping and it almost shut down the industry, I'm just wondering if there's anything that CMU, is there a link that they could have contributed to obvious problem?
Yes. So for cruise shipping, and you will understand the passion I have for that, given my own tourism background.
Right.
That came from halt. Incidentally, at that time, I was at the TPDCO managing the cruise ships in a different capacity. But what I do know is that there was no reduced demand for our seafarers for cargo. And so the beauty of that was that the CMU, because we are so technology focused and because STEM is our propellant, we were able, quicker than any other university. Now this one I can say boldly, hoping no daggers are drawn, we were able, quicker than every other university, to transition to online learning in one weekend. There was no disruption in our delivery and we're able to churn out graduates nonetheless.
Okay. Well, Kiwanis and guests, the floor is open. I'm sure there must be some things that you are curious about. You did mention the 19% that didn't get employed in 12 months, but I missed something in terms of what you did for that group. Just remind me on that.
All right. So we have what's called our SBDC. And I'm going to put myself out there. And if I feel like the leader of the SBDC is online. So if I get the S wrong, please correct me, Lady McFarlane. Small, I think it's small, yes. Business development. What's the C, Jehan? While she tells me what the C is. It is an incubator system for enabling entrepreneurship. So we keep tabs on them and we bring them in, we nurture ideas, we allow them to move from concept to implementation. And it's in partnership with JBDC and the Ministry of Industry and Commerce.
Okay, I see a hand up.
I just remember the C, it's center, it's Small Business Development Center. She didn't get it up, but I remember it.
Okay. Peter Allen, yes, you go ahead.
Good night. Peter from Papi.
Good night.
Very, very interesting and informative presentation, Professor Spencer. I would like you to elaborate on scholarships that are especially available for students who want to do unique programs that you offer. And secondly, three things. Say a little bit more about your non-destructive testing laboratory that would support the engineering industry here in Jamaica. And is it available for industry participants to use, of course, at a fee, and elaborate on your virtual welding, training that is, I don't know if it is yet fully developed and implemented, but where are we with that?
Right. So if you don't, let me start at the end to say that the virtual welding lab, we have all the equipment. We have not assembled it in that particular laboratory space as yet. And the idea is that we're preparing for the future of space. So we have a workshop now with traditional welding, but we're also going to train individuals in the space of virtual welding. Now, again, the use of artificial intelligence at play to enable the kind of simulation required in some kinds of environment. And really the non-destructive testing space, we are at 25% completion with that. We've received the first tranche of equipment and we have almost completed the build out of one laboratory space. And the idea is that it will, just like the Festa Center, be intended to incorporate with anyone and any industry player who would like to partner with us. For example, a lot of entities in manufacturing send us their employees to be trained and retrained in our Festa Fact Center now with some of the engineering technology that we have. So those are the partnerships that we like to engage in. And one of the things I will say to you is that it is that center that excited UTech when they came to partner with us. So while we are utilizing their optics and photonics labs, they're utilizing our pneumatics, hydraulics, mechatronics laboratory spaces. And so we're partnering so that we can reach more individuals. But certainly by the time NDT, that lab is finished, we will be in a position to partner with industry a little bit more. On the scholarship side, I'm so happy you asked that. I don't know how I could have left that out. So we have multiple scholarship opportunities. And this year, for the first time, we were able to get our scholarship partners through the Caribbean Shipping Association as well as the American Caribbean Maritime Foundation to offer scholarships to first-year students. So what would normally happen is we would get people in year one, they'd pay the fees, and if their GPA is satisfactory, then they can apply for these scholarships. But we are now offering it to first-year students, and these scholarships are, I don't want to say this too loudly, there is no, the ones I just mentioned, the ACMF and CSA, there's no bonding arrangement that's required for these. It is just a set of individuals who've come together and recognized the importance and the potency of our space and have committed these funds. So just this year alone, and you see, I don't want to use the word better, but when we did the check, again, a larger percentage of our population, our school population, has access to scholarship and funding than any other space. Because we also get scholarships from New Fortress Energy, we also get scholarships from all the other traditional places where other universities do, NCB Foundation, Ministry of Education and Youth. Again, in that space, there are also some engineering scholarships added to the New Fortress scholarships, and on and on and on. But I will say this, that American Caribbean Maritime Foundation issued 111 scholarships last year, and 89 of those went to this CMU. So we have more scholarships than the students who are taking them up. And one of the things that interests me, and I don't know if it's a generational thing, Sir Allen, is that unless you hold the student's hand in doing the application, students are not as eager as you would think to take up what I consider to be free money. I recall when I was a student, even if you're bonding me for 10 years, I'm taking your money. But these students are of a different mind. I'm not quite sure I understand it. But the point is we have more scholarships than we have takers.
Thank you so much. Thank
You're welcome.
you.
VP Stuart, if I may. Thank you, Professor. Great presentation. My question is a simple one. I've always noticed that there's a ship always. Well, let me be kind of non-technical. Always parked against the university, and I'm wondering if I've always seen it, and I've said, boy, you guys must use it for training. Is that so?
That's what the vessel is for. So I wouldn't call it a ship, because those technical people who are on would lynch me. We have 3 vessels. One of them is more visible from the road. So there are 3 vessels, and one of them is a research vessel, and the other 2 are training vessels. So for example, the intention is for our engineers to work on a real engine before they go out there. And we do far less navigation with them now, given some restrictions around our space, but we're planning to do more navigation, near-shore navigation. What's required for our students doing marine transportation is that they do sea time on larger vessels, and the IMO has its own specifications for the minimum requirements. So even if we were to use it to train them in navigation, it wouldn't meet the mark for their IMO qualification, their what we call STCW certification. But yes, they are training vessels.
Okay, thank you, Newton. And a quick question: the size of your student population?
We're at about 3,500 at this time.
Wow, that's pretty big.
Oh well, actually, it's very big if you look at who we are. Let me tell you what happened. So, my friends at NCU have roughly 4,000 students, and there's much more breadth in what they do. So if you look at the fact that we are a specialist niche space, specialist niche spaces don't have this kind of number. The French Maritime Academy has 700 students.
The French Maritime
Academy, which is the oldest maritime academy in the world, 700 students. My good friends at Case, I'm just showing you the specialized spaces, have 750 students. If you wanted to even go into the sporting arena, GC Foster has under 1,000. So I'm making the point that being a specialist niche space,
yes,
halfway in the thousands is phenomenal.
Wow. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Great presentation. Thank you so much for this opportunity. So what is the graduation rate like?
Good question. So I'll tell you absolute numbers first, and then I'll tell you percentage. So typically, we graduate every year somewhere between 75 and 80% of those intended to graduate. Last year, we graduated 600 plus students. Year before was 700 plus. We're still working our way through this year, but that gives you an idea of what we're churning out each year.
And one follow-up question, please. Thank you for that response. Do the other universities accommodate evening classes, like for people working and all that? Is that something that your institution get involved into?
Absolutely. We have our part-time programs are all virtual. So this is how we manage this hybrid approach. For our full-time students, they come in. Part-time programs are online and in the evening, or graduate programs or master's programs. Somebody asked a question in the chat earlier. I think it was Zuri Johnson. about what master's programs we have. Again, we're unique with that. So we have a master's, an MSc in shipping and logistics, and we have an MSc in logistics engineering. I wanted to understand how our tentacles are everywhere. NCB just hired 10 of our engineering students because they want people who can find solutions, and now they want logisticians because they want process-oriented individuals. So yeah, we have these exciting programs, and they're all for the master's students, for the graduate programs, as well as for the part-time undergraduate students. They are evening and online. I should hasten to say that we're launching this year for the first time our doctoral program in maritime policy. We're very excited about that, in partnership with the ACU out of the UK. I see another question there from President Mauricio. There, are these technologies available at the Western campus? They are not, because of the programs currently being offered in Western Jamaica. We're offering shipping and logistics there as our degree program, the only degree program in the West at this time. We'll expand that when we move in September. But because those programs are not, at this moment, heavily tech intensive, the space down there is not as outfitted as our main campus.
Thank you, President Eurydice. You mentioned two things you mentioned that you could expand on a bit. You said something about electric vehicles, if I remember correctly, and also the nuclear aspect. Could you tell us a little bit more about what you're doing in those areas, if I got it right?
Yes, you did. So we have an electric vehicles lab, which is intended to train our engineers in that space. All right. So understanding that space, you would have seen the emergence and proliferation of companies now like BYD. People are going.
Yes.
Tesla. I mean, even some of the brands that we know, Toyota, etc., are moving in that direction. Of course, there are some challenges now in terms of, mass and quantity, and the oil and gas guys will tell you that they're not perturbed for the next 10 to 15 years because, again, the question is, where do you make your money in that space? You have these charging ports, but people are likely to respond to it in the way that they respond to their cell phones. We're going to charge at home if we can. So again, there are those considerations. But we train individuals in the technology surrounding the development of electric vehicles. In fact, we had a company out of Canada visit us recently, and they were very excited by the technology we had. And they now are putting charging ports on our campus in partnership with those individuals in Dubai who are helping us with the solarization project as well. On the nuclear side of things, UWI has always had a facility. What we're getting is a much newer kind of facility that's looking at this alternative energy source and a very controlled, sterile environment, and with some of the technology surrounding that. One of the things we want to be able to inform is this matter of shore power. And it's not shore as in S-U-R-E, shore as in shoreside, S-H-O-R-E. Because you'll imagine that vessels in a port that have to keep running are burning, yes? And there are a number of things that are happening in that space. There are the environmental considerations, which we're very acutely aware of. But also you're talking about just other kinds of disturbances and pollution surrounding that. So what we want to do is we're looking at alternative sources of energy. And if we can have, as a pilot, the ability to be able to create shore power opportunities through the Port Authority of Jamaica, that could be a model for the rest of the world to look towards. And of course, you know that there are other people doing massive amounts of research in nuclear. It's not yet mainstream, but we don't want to wait until something is mainstream to be a part of it. We want to have first movers advantage.
Okay, thanks. And we have to wrap now. But finally, I don't see any hands up. So let me ask the final question. The future, Jamaica as a logistic hub, or, I've heard that Singapore, for example, what they've been able to do with Singapore as a shipping point. Tell us what you think of Jamaica in comparison to the potential for something like that. That's what I want to get at.
Well, you know, they understand it, and it's funny you brought that up. I was in Singapore in March, and I had an opportunity to see it. And the kind of architecture that's there makes you understand that the government gets how important that kind of, I take it as, I'll go as far as saying that kind of control of global trade is important. Let's use a milder word, influence. So I think we have the opportunity to do it. There's a lot of talk. I've seen some movement recently, and that movement through the Special Economic Zone Authority has seen, for example, the development of what they call their 5 zones. And the conversations they're having now are very exciting. One of those zones is going to be located very close to the CMU. And so again, we're providing the talent for that. If those zones take off in the way that we anticipate they will, for example, we're looking at sporting with iconic figures such as Usain Bolt, Asaf, and everyone else. The sporting brands are looking at whether they can manufacture at a lower cost in Jamaica. That's a whole zone of economic activity which will require considerations and so on. So we don't want to put the cart before the horse, but what we're doing is trying to keep pace with preparing the talent to meet the needs once those needs arise, because already we are undersupplying the needs of the globe. And what everybody tells me is that they get mass from the Philippines, but they get quality from the CMU. Everywhere that the CMU graduate goes, without question, we're getting that feedback from the industry globally.
Okay. How can you get more people in Jamaica? And maybe it was just me, but how can you get more people in Jamaica to really recognize what you're doing? I think, it's amazing. I think you're doing a fantastic job there.
All right, thank you. Well, we just have to keep doing what we've been doing. We have a very targeted marketing strategy that we launched about a year ago. And if you're those who, we anticipate that a lot of people don't read the newspapers anymore. But you recall that in 1 week, I think we had something like 6 positive Gleaner articles surrounding what we're doing. We're dominating the social media space with tons of followers, and so we expect to start seeing the multiplier effect of these efforts. We're also doing something now that we call Maritime Mania in the high schools, and we're going in at 3rd form, because that's before you even select your subjects, so we can be top of mind and in front of you as you are thinking about your options. What we want to be is a very viable option, and I'll tell you this. One of the things I'm proud of is that not only are our graduates employed, but they're employed in meaningful spaces with dignified salaries. There's a young man from Antigua, I love to tell this story. He decided not to go for cargo or cruise shipping. He's working on a yacht with a billionaire, and he makes more money than the president of the CMU. And he's only graduated 18 months now. So it sounds anecdotal, but he's representative of what a lot of our graduates are able to do, especially those who do the engineering program.
Okay, and I see Peter has put his hand up again. We'll take him, but keep it short, Peter, and then we go to the thank you.
Thank you so much for allowing me to say this. It's a burning question, but I was just making sure everybody got a chance to ask questions. Really impressed. I just want to commend again your graduates. I've interfaced with them. They are exceptional. They are good. But I want to know, what is the move CMU is making in terms of, I heard you mention that you are big on safety, and occupational health and safety seem to be at a standstill in Jamaica as far as the act is concerned. And we just had World Safety Day. We are in the week of World Safety Day. What is the move to create more awareness and to move us to enacting the Ash Bill?
I love the kinds of questions you ask. They bring me to spaces and remind me of things I wanted to say originally. So you'd have seen some of the professional certification elements that I shared earlier in the presentation. One of the things we're looking at, in the same way that we've packaged our logistics training in Logistics 101 and taken it island-wide, in the same way that we've done safety training for fisher folk, in the same way that we've done some of the other elements, we are now distilling some of what we have in terms of ASH and safety generally, and putting it in a way that we can start sensitizing and rolling out across the country, and then over time start certifying individuals in the area. So we're very concerned in terms of the lack of awareness. And so one of the things about the CMU is that we're action people. My team, I have a team of 350 people, inclusive of 6 vice presidents who make it happen. And these individuals are all committed to moving things along. I tell them we don't talk about many things unless we plan to do something about them. And so that's kind of our focus over the next 12 to 24 months.
Okay.
Thank you, Professor Spencer. Wonderful.
So at this point, I'd like to ask DP Newton, who is going to do the vote of thanks.
Thank you, DP Stewart. Thank you, Professor Andrew Spencer. You know, part of excellent presentation, sir. And part of what happened is I before that I was going to do the vote. You were saying that I have not made many of the jottings that I should have made. So, you know, but I tell you, this CMU,
You're breaking up.
Who seem to be Jamaica's best kept secret. I mean, I always knew that somehow.
Well, sorry, DP, I didn't hear anything you said in the last 60 seconds. I think you're.
Yeah,
that's what I'm
breaking up.
Yes.
That's what I'm realizing that my is it
no, you're breaking
is it
up.
any better now?
Yes,
you're breaking up.
Much better.
Better now.
Okay, good. I think my internet went. No, I was saying that the CMU, and then I said CMOU. I mean, the CMU seemed to be Jamaica's best kept secret. I've always known that you do great things over there. I just did not know how good. And I'm pretty sure, Professor, that there's no one online who went to any other university. But before I go any further, I want to congratulate Dr. Diana Spencer on her achievement.
Yes. I think we lost it after that. Very important.
It was real great to see that, to hear you at CMU. You know, no, I'm saying that I'm happy. I was happy to hear you say that the CMU is not really interested. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
The CMU. All right, let me change.
Yes, I'm hearing. I'm hearing.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes. With an echo.
Okay, I'm trying to. I'm just changed to my phone. Are you hearing me better now?
That's better. That's better.
Oh, okay, great. I'm just saying that I'm glad to hear you say that the CMU is not interested in competing with any other university, but in collaborating and enhancing what we have there. And you know, you made the point that the CMU is a transportation, maritime, and shipping university with a heavy component on research there. And I really love your mission to redefine maritime excellence through education. And the fact that your cohort is what? 49% female, 51% male, tells us that it's been done in an equitable manner. So we really thank you for opening our eyes tonight, Professor. I for one would hope that DP Stewart will have you back for a part 2, because I'm pretty sure there's a whole lot that wasn't said that needs to be said. But again, on behalf of everyone else on this platform tonight, I thank you. We have a tradition at the Kiwanis Club of Kingston where we present a certificate of appreciation to our guest speakers who bless us with their presence. If you look on the screen, you will see yours. And I tell you, sir,
I'm trying to take a picture of it now.
Oh, well, I tell you something.
if needs be, even though you're several miles out of Kingston, if needs be, and I am mandated to drive it out to you tomorrow morning, I will, because we really appreciate your presentation
We'll
today.
be happy to
Thank
have
you
that. If you come, I may let them give you the tour.
again. I will take you up on it, sir. So really, thank you for being with us, and I beseech, if DP Stewart also reach you out again for part 2, please say yes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I just say it would be printed by tomorrow. So tomorrow wouldn't be possible. But you will get your certificate. I'd just like to add one thing. The closest I came to the Caribbean Maritime University is in the earlier days of Carnival. One of the popular spots for the Carnival Fete was out at that's what I remember, was out at the Maritime the grounds.
You
And
know
I
what
used to go
happened
to
to me
that
just a
one.
while ago? You know what happened to me? I heard Carnival, and the first thing I thought was MOU with Carnival Cruise Lines.
Oh,
Always thinking business, but yes, I'm aware of that. Yes.
yes, I remember it well. Okay, back to you, President Stephen.
Thank you, DP Stewart, and thank you, Professor. A very insightful, a very informative, and dare I say, entertaining presentation. Very well done. Thank you for sharing. Please forgive me. I've had to move, so I can only have my microphone on, but not my video camera. The Sergeant, moving on with the program, the Sergeant Assistant Secretary Chris sent his apologies. So I will, in his stead, level a blanket flying. All of those members who, if it's not for medical reasons, who did not attend our recent Kiwanis blood drive initiative, for them to pay $600 to the coffers. And those who did were able to donate. I will exercise some levity and only have to pay $400 fine. So thank you for those who participated, and remember the drive is ongoing. So if you haven't made your blood donation yet, there's still an opportunity down the line. I noticed that DLG Willie is now with us. DLG Willie, we did extend your apology to the top of the meeting, but I'm going to ask you now if you have any announcements or notices or interclubbing that you'd like to share with the club at this time. DLG Willie, are you hearing me?
Yes.
I guess he isn't.
Yes, I guess he can. So just to remind them, just the one announcement is that remember, for those of you who missed it at the beginning, that our annual fish fry is coming up on June 6th, 11 Fairway Avenue. The cost is $3,000, and we ask for your support in this venue, for this venture, because it is one of our main fundraising activities. And tickets are available from any of the Kingston Club members. I'll also take the opportunity. I noticed there are some visiting clubs online. If there's any club who would like to make any announcement or at this time or notice, feel free to unmute your microphone and share with us your event.
Okay, so I'm President Ibrahim from the Kiwanis Club of 23 Central, Surrey Online. And at this time, I'd like to announce a couple of things. First, earlier, you heard that IPP LaShawn lost her son. The 9 night will be celebrated on Thursday. I'm not sure of the address, but I'm sure I can get it and post it in the chat. And then let me see, our 5th anniversary is coming up on the week of our meeting will be on the 16th of June at the Secretariat. So we invite you to come out and participate with us. It's going to be, admission is $500. and it's really a fundraiser. So please come out, and we'll have lots and lots of wonderful things for our 5th anniversary, but you won't know if you don't come. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'll see you then. Thanks.
Thank you very much, President Eurydice, and encouraging everybody to support at Central Surrey Online and their fundraising activities. Is there any other club that would like to share their fundraising or any events at this time? Going once, going twice. Okay, thank you, everybody. VP Marcel had sent his apologies, so we don't have a thought of the week, but I wish
President?
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Yep.
VP Newton.
If you don't mind, just based on the talk tonight, I have a thought for the week that I could probably
please
share.
do. Please share.
All right. In keeping with Professor Spencer's presentation, it says, the ocean does not entertain excuses or partial efforts. It is a realm where only the tangible preparedness and action hold value. So I guess maybe that's why CMU is so action oriented.
Indeed. Thank you very much, VP Newton. Very timely. So if there is no other business, I'm going to take the opportunity to thank everybody for attending this meeting, for your time and your participation. And reminding our Kingston members that next week is our annual general meeting at the Secretariat, 7 p.m. So please roll out, come out in your numbers. We need the support. And here are some of the plans so far, what we've achieved at the half-year mark, and what are the plans for the rest of the year, as well as to appoint the designated officers for the next administration. So we look forward to your presence next week at the Secretariat. So on that note, I would like to ask you to raise your glasses and make a toast to Kiwanis International and Jamaica Land We Love. This concludes the meeting of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston for this evening, May 5th, May 20th, May 6th. I'm getting my dates mixed up, 2025. Thank you, everybody, and have a pleasant evening and a safe journey home if you're not at home yet. Take care.
Okay.